Welcome to Rad2, another daily reader for Reddit. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. TIFU by giving my son permission to beat his bully's butt. My son was born with a condition called pectus excavatum. In layman's terms, his chest is sunken in. His condition was so bad that he only had 2.5 inches between his sternum and his spine. And his heart and lungs were bruised because of it. In December, he had surgery to correct it, and they put 2 nickel bars in his chest to give it space and train his bones to grow correctly. About 3 weeks after his surgery, a kid punched him and dislodged the top bar, and he had to have another surgery to put the bar back in place. The kid has been through a lot. Well, the doctor cleared him for most activity last week. Just no skateboarding or bike riding, but he could now lift his backpack and go hang out with friends and play pickup. Non-contact sports. Unbeknownst to me, a kid in his class had been bullying him all semester. And because my son was afraid of getting hit again, he just took it. Well, the evening he was cleared, he came to me and said, "Dad, I'm cleared now. A kid has been bullying me and hitting me for months. Can I kick his butt?" Well, my son isn't really a fighter. He's fought with his brothers but never anyone else. And he's always gotten his butt kicked. So I just figured he was just talking. But this is the first I had heard about the bullying, and I was concerned. I could tell he was distressed about the situation, so I told him to knock the fricker out. He just nodded and went to his room. Now, his older brother is tough sob. He had a traumatic brain injury 2 years ago and he missed a year of school, so he's in the same grade and coincidentally takes the same class. I talked to him about it and told him to handle it but don't get in trouble. He told me that the kid walks in every day and punches my son in the head. I asked him why he allowed it to happen, and he said he wanted his brother to get tough, and once he was tired of getting hit, he would do something about it. While I kinda agree with his thinking, I instructed him to handle it without getting in trouble. The next morning I took them both to school, then drove back home to get my younger daughter, who goes to a different school that starts later. On the way to take her to school, my wife calls me. "Have you taken XXXXX to school yet?" "Well, after you do, go pick up your son. He got in a fight." I just assumed it was my oldest son. Imagine my surprise when I walked into the school office to see my younger son with a grin from ear to ear. He was beaming. He pointed to another kid sitting in a chair holding an ice pack on his face. I warned him. I was so proud. He had walked into class, sat down, and the kid popped him in the head like always. My older son got up to intervene, and before he could, my son decked the kid with one punch. He said the kid was bawling on the floor and that it was the best day of his life. He got suspended for 3 days. TL. Dr. I gave my son permission to beat up his bully because I didn't think he would, and he did it. Edit 1. The kid who punched my son in the chest was one of his friends. It wasn't malicious, just 2 boys clowning around. He was horrified that he had hurt my son. The bully punched my son in the head every day. Once he found out my son couldn't do anything about it, he just kept on. My son wasn't the only one he bullied, either. Also, the bully's brother came to my son later and told him that he had warned him once my son could fight, that he was going to get his butt kicked. Edit 2. My son had some social anxiety, and since the fight he has made a lot of new friends. He used to hate going to school, but now he's disappointed that school is out for summer. Crazy. Edit 3. Thanks for the precious metals. And holy crap. Front page. Nice. Zero tolerance. Kid hits your kid every day. No one does crap about it. The second he fights back, suspended. What a crop. The zero tolerance crap kills me. It encourages bullies to do their thing because nothing ever happens until the victim fights back. If they do get caught, so what? They don't have to go to school. Win for them. Zero tolerance is code for zero liability for the school. The zero tolerance crap kills me. It encourages bullies to do their thing because nothing ever happens until the victim fights back. If they do get caught, so what? They don't have to go to school. Win for them. Zero tolerance is code for zero liability for the school. The problem with zero tolerance is that it leads to situations where one side, or both, decide they're going to get suspended anyway, so they might as well earn it in a fight that could have ended after a few punches turns into one kid kicking the absolute crap out of the other kid, because they're going to get suspended anyway. Yes, I was called to the office because my 16-year-old daughter was causing trouble and in detention. When I arrived at the school, the ASST principal advised that her abusive ex had shoved her down because she stopped taking his abuse and stopped speaking to him. She stood back up and said, "Get the frick off of me," and the administrator said she was part of the problem. I asked what he suggested a student do in that case, and he said if she was hit, she should take the hit and stay down, and an administrator such as himself would handle it from there. Excuse me, but that's bullcrap. Just hell no. I believe it does as well. Someone will have to change both our minds. Not sure how this is a TIFU. Honestly, just a great story. TIFU. I taught my son that if someone punches you in the head every single day and they can't rely on authority to deal with it, you should punch them back and take care of it yourself. Not a bad lesson to teach someone in this day and age, TBH. Why didn't authorities suspend the other kid though? Yep, anyone that says violence never solves anything is just flat out wrong. Sometimes violence, restrained violence anyway, is the only solution. Some buttholes only respond to the most primitive language. Agreed. I don't like when people say violence is never the answer. It shouldn't be your first answer. It should be a last resort. But if you've exhausted all peaceful options with no success, then by all means, defend yourself. When I was 13, a couple of kids thought it would be a great idea to bully me because I had a relatively large nose. It started with name-calling, which I really didn't give a crap about. They then started to push me around and throw my stuff. I was a purple belt in judo and was pretty big, but I always felt bad about harming others. But when I told my mother, she told me to forget about that, hurt those who hurt you. And I did. The next day I used an oguruma on him and his ankle hit the corner of the curb, fracturing a bone in his ankle. My mom was called into school and pretty much told the principal to go to hell because he didn't do anything about it beforehand. Dad high-fived me when I got home that day too. I don't see the TIFU. This is how you teach your kids to deal with bullies. TIFU equals today I've helped my son frick up a bully. Yeah, the bully deserved it. In my books, if someone hits you first then swing away. Did the school punish the kid who dislodged the bar? In my books, that is something that should have been handled, especially if it caused another surgery. You did the right thing, honestly. The school is in the wrong in this case, but be proud that your son defended himself. You need to make a formal complaint to the school board. Your son acted in self-defense after being punched. He should not be suspended. His teacher should be suspended for letting this go on. I'm proud of your son too. I tell my son, 13, and daughter, 7, that they will never be in trouble for defending themselves no matter what the school says. But I didn't always take that stance. I used to tell them that under no circumstances were they to hit other kids. Until my son came home in tears with anger. A kid moved to their school who had issues, and he was basically riding roughshod over the teachers and kids in his class, which up to then had been in perfect harmony. Apparently they were all coloring in and the butthead said, "This pen is blue," to which my son looked up and said, "It's grey." Long story short, butthead explodes and attacks my kid, having to be dragged off him by the teacher as he tried to strangle him. I got a call from the school. "Mr. Bollocks, there was a wee incident in school today. Butthead got upset and there was a little bit of an altercation. Nothing to worry about. Just letting you know." So I think, okay, I'll talk to Kidder when he gets home, then I get the full story. So I told him, "Remember when I told you never to hit? Forget it all." Dad was being too soft. The minute someone puts their hands on you, you light them up on the spot. Okay, Dad. Now, I was an amateur boxer in my day and also did some judo and 6 months of JJ. So I know a little bit when it comes to unarmed combat. Obviously I have a great respect for martial arts and had been showing my son a few things so he had the tools in his box should he need them, and self-discipline, hoping to give him a bit of knowledge before sending him to a gym or dojo. FFWD 3 weeks. I get a call from the headmistress. "Mr. Bollocks, there has been a serious incident resulting in baby Bollocks punching butthead to the ground. This sort of behavior is unacceptable in our school and we are suspending him for 3 days. I asked what led to this happening, as I don't think my wee man would instigate violence. "Well, butthead hit him with a chair and tried to strangle him again, and we will be dealing with it." Let me stop you there. I told my son that if anyone was to put their hands on him again, that he was to let them have it. Far from being in trouble. He is going to McDonald's tonight and the cinema. Also, you realize that the action of putting both hands around someone's neck is usually a stark Warning of serious intent to harm. In an 8-year-old that is terrifying. And maybe Butthead needs moved to your unit where he can get the care he needs rather than disrupting 32 other kids who get along fine. I'm going to the board with this, and as if by magic it all disappeared, and my kids know that dad always has their back. So double down on freak that bully. Edit. When I was training my son, the problem was that he was afraid of hitting people, not getting hit. I remember being like that when I started in the gym. It always took me a couple of shots to wake up and get into the flow of the fight. Edit. Forgot to add that Butthead turned out to be molesting his kid brother and sister. He got caught doing it at the bottom of his garden one day and the whole story came out. Age 9 and all that crap going on. Brew, don't listen to all these idiots. You really fricked up. You horrible idiot. Why? Because pectum excavatum is not a joke. Your son beat the bully and he was lucky that it didn't turn into a situation where the bully could hit your younger son in chest, or some of friends of the bully might have hit. It could have gone wrong very easily, and since kids are pretty much unaware of when is too much, or whether the person in front has a problem, your son could have very well taken a kick with boots on his chest and this could have damaged his heart. Not joking. Sternal fractures, in pectum excavatum, and especially when there is a metal bar behind and not safe. Your son could have been to a emergency had this gone even a little bit astray. Fighting seems cool till you realize that in a condition like this, the mere immaturity of bullies and kids in general could have led to something entirely dreadful. The mature thing would have been to talk to school, and believe me, school does give a frick when it comes to things which can lead to someone's death and school being shut down. They take it seriously. Thanks for watching Rad 2. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you like these videos, check out the original Rad channel.